The impact of this has on the time value of money is that it decreases the value of a dollar over time. This increases the price of goods and services over time, effectively decreasing the number of goods and services you can buy with a dollar in the future as opposed to a dollar today. Yes, today we are talking about inflation. The impact of this has on the time value of money is that it decreases the value of a dollar over time. This increases the price of goods and services over time, effectively decreasing the number of goods and services you can buy with a dollar in the future as opposed to a dollar today. Yes, today we are talking about inflation. Inflation refers to the rise in the prices of most goods and services of daily or common use, such as food, clothing, housing, recreation, transport, consumer staples, etc. Inflation measures the average price change in a basket of commodities and services over time. Then come on, let us know some causes and effects of inflation. What causes inflation? There are various factors that can cause prices or inflation in an economy. Typically, inflation results from an increase in production costs or an increase in demand for products and services. Inflation can arise from internal and external events. Some inflationary pressures direct from the domestic economy, for example the decisions of utility businesses providing electricity or gas or water on their tariffs for the year ahead, or the pricing strategies of the food retailers based on the strength of demand and competitive pressure in their markets. A rise in the rate of VAT would also be a cause of increased domestic inflation in the short term because it increases a firm's production costs. Inflation can also come from external sources. For example, a sustained rise in the price of crude oil or other imported commodities, foodstuffs and beverages. Fluctuations in the exchange rate can also affect inflation. For example, a fall in the value of the pound against other currencies might cause higher import prices for items such as foodstuffs from Western Europe or technology supplies from the United States, which feeds through directly or indirectly into the consumer price index. Now, let us know some effects of inflation. There are both positive and negative effects. Then we will know some positive effects first. Moderate rates of inflation are a sign of a healthy economy. With economic growth, we usually get a degree of inflation. Moderate rates of wage inflation allow relative wages to adjust. Nominal wages are sticky downwards. With moderate inflation, firms can freeze pay rises for less productive workers to effectively give them a real pay cut. A moderate inflation rate reduces the real value of debt. If there is deflation, the real value of debt increases, leading to a squeeze on disposable incomes. Moderate rates of inflation allow prices to adjust and goods to attain their real price. We got to know one thing. If inflation rises 1 to 2% every year, then it shows the sign of a healthy economy. But what if it rises more than 2%? Then there will be some negative effects. High inflation rates tend to cause uncertainty and confusion, leading to less investment. It is argued that countries with persistently higher inflation tend to have lower rates of investment and economic growth. Inflation and stagnant wage growth lead to declining incomes. Inflation can reduce the real value of savings, which might particularly affect old people who live on savings. However, it does depend on whether interest rates are higher than the inflation rate. Inflation will reduce the real value of government bonds. Investors will demand higher bond yields to compensate. This will increase the cost of debt interest payments. The higher inflation affects the poor and middle class who depends on a low income. If we take an example of Venezuela. In October 2019, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, estimated Venezuela's annual inflation rate for 2019 would be an astounding 200,000%. Considering that central banks like the US Federal Reserve and European Central Bank, ECB, aim for annual inflation targets around 2% to 3%. Venezuela's currency and economy are in crisis. In 2016, Venezuela entered hyperinflation. The inflation rate reached 274% in 2016, 863% in 2017, 130,060% in 2018 and 9,586% in 2019. Since 2016, the overall inflation rate has increased to 53,798,500%. This is due to the economy of Venezuela is based largely on the petroleum and manufacturing sectors and has been in a state of total economic collapse since the mid-2010s. Venezuela is the sixth largest member of OPEC by oil production. Since the 1920s, Venezuela has been a rentier state, offering oil as its main export. The reason behind such a worst situation is the political corruption, chronic shortages of food and medicine, closure of companies, unemployment, deterioration of productivity, authoritarianism, human rights violations, gross economic mismanagement and high dependence on oil have also contributed to the worsening crisis. As an individual, the question arises that how to stay ahead from inflation? Investing in equities over a long period is one of the best ways to stay ahead of inflation. Over the last 10 years, the Nifty has returned 16.7% a year compared to the 7% average inflation rate. One can either invest directly or through mutual funds. There is no more profitable investment than investing in yourself. It is the best investment you can make, you can never go wrong with it. It is the true way to improve yourself to be the best version of you and lets you be able to best serve those around you. Read on to learn how to invest in yourself and watch your income potential grow. Take a class or workshop. Read, watch, and listen. Attend networking events. Hire a business or career coach. Start a side hustle. Prioritize self-care and breaks to increase productivity. Boost your health and wellness. Then read plenty of books and improve your knowledge. If you do not have time to read books, then listen to some audiobooks. Amazon presents Audible, which offers free trial for 1 month. Go to the description box and grab your free offer. If you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel and share this video. Do not forget to comment your opinion.